bachelor's in communications, a bachelor's in international studies, and a master's in government.
Whatever. A lot of women
Mhm.
are just walking, roaming their day-to-day life, not really embodying their truth of what their bodies are doing for them.
The original intent for the role of executive office, even the word executive comes from like executioner, really. Supposed to be not a desired job. Like nobody wants to be the executioner. It's a dirty job. It has to be done. They have to make a decision. The executioner, chops the head off. And men have a 24-hour hormonal cycle versus women have typically a 30-day hormonal cycle. So really everything in our society, like the day-to-day 9 to 5 jobs, everything like that is all set up to accommodate a man's 24-hour
I
home.
think that will be the key to our success, and that called for a whole lot of sex and a whole lot of beautiful children. So it's really a great thing to me, I think. But
I
anyway,
like it.
nice. Hello, girl.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You like my backdrop? I thought it was spiffy
I
enough.
know. I'm like trying to find one.
Yeah, go for it. Check it out. I've got this one off Pinterest, and then I put it onto the thing, and it works out that way because I think on what they have available is like a galaxy or like some trees in Northern Light.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's
But
okay. I'll just leave my background for now.
yeah, you got a nice background going on. It's my if listen, if I didn't have this background, I'm living in my RV right now, so it'd be a little crazy. But thank you for joining me today on this little YouTube series podcast.
Yeah, of course.
It's going to be pretty free flowing. I was drawn to you primarily because one, I love what you're doing. I love a lot of the things that you are posting on your platforms, and I will definitely attach that to the link within this video once it's uploaded. But you kind of crack me
Thanks.
up a lot of times with your feminist bestie. I love what you're doing with the cycle syncing, and I think there was one post that you did that kind of targeted around politics. And lately, I've been on this crazy or government and politics, and I've been on this bender of just kind of like fighting the good fight alongside it as well. And hearing that you were actually educated in, I think, what was it? What is your degrees again? You tell me.
I have three.
Yes.
I have a bachelor's in communications, a bachelor's in international studies, and a master's in government.
Yes, nice. That was it. That all of them together is just phenomenal. So I do want to pick your brain apart a little bit about, being of the younger generation along with myself, um,
Mhm.
what we see in the world today, where what your thoughts are on everything going on in general, and kind of how you started to branch off in your own little business that you've got going on TikTok and on Instagram and what you're doing and all of that. So, if you want to start, I guess a good
Mhm.
question to go with is what inspired you to take the leap into entrepreneurship with what you're doing?
Well, I think that it's something that I had been trying to do for a while, but I just didn't really know. I didn't really know that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had like side projects. I used to work in elections,
Okay.
and I had started kind of a YouTube back then, but it didn't really get anywhere. And then I had a friend, and we started something together, and it didn't really go anywhere. But I always kind of felt like whenever I would leave a 9 to 5 job, I would always kind of start a side project.
Okay.
And then I'd find another 9 to 5 and I'd stay with it. And then I'd get bored after a couple of years. And then I kind of just started recognizing this pattern that I was unfulfilled in the kind of 9 to 5 world, which I'm still in right now. But now that I have this vision and I'm working towards it, I kind of have more of a clear direction. But I think that I've always kind of felt this need for wanting more and knowing that I can do more with my life.
Okay.
And now I feel like I've finally done the work and also educated myself a little bit more about becoming an entrepreneur and utilizing social media platforms. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So what is it that you were working in elections? What was that like? And are you working that already right now? What is your 9 to 5 right now alongside your little entrepreneurship gigs? What is it that you fill your time with these days?
So I'm in nonprofit now.
Okay, nice.
Um, I really love the nonprofit side because I have been in local government before with elections. So I felt like I was um, getting, to have that kind of interaction with people and making a difference. So I still feel that fulfillment in the nonprofit side,
Yeah.
but with elections, it did get a little crazy. I worked the 2016 election, and it was a lot of long nights, a lot of stress, and I didn't do that for. I think I did it for about 3 years, but then moved on to kind of more of the nonprofit side.
Nice, nice. And so tell the viewers a little bit about what you're doing right now with your entrepreneurship. Like I know you kind of have this, this feministic approach to what it is that you're doing and teaching women
Hmm.
how to better learn their bodies. I know you're on this whole journey of getting off birth control, right? Do you want to kind of speak upon that and how you kind of began this journey in itself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started posting content uh, probably a year ago consistently, and uh, I it was kind of just like a weird journey of how I started. Like I definitely got into the craze of the digital marketing courses
Yeah.
and bought those, which were very helpful because I did learn a lot of things that I didn't know. But then I really wanted to find a way to take what I was creating online with content creation, my online business, my entrepreneurial journey, and tie that into my degrees and my passion for um, just civic service. I'm a feminist. I'm very passionate about women's rights, reproductive health care. So I wanted to try to find a way to tie all of that in together because that's who I am and that's what I wanted to build. So I started my journey with cycle syncing. So I came off of hormonal birth control at the beginning of this year. I had previously been on it for almost 17 years, which I know a lot of women do because you get on it when you're really young and then you just stay on because you don't want to have kids. And I kind of had been teetering with the idea for a while. I had, of course, seen uh, articles or have seen videos about how you know birth control can affect a lot of different things. I have friends that have um, that have depression or anxiety or bipolar disorder, and they can't go on birth control. So that always was kind of a little curious to me, like, well, what does it really affect if I have friends that have mental health issues and they can't be on the pill? So um I'm in a committed relationship now,
Yeah.
and we don't want kids. And I decided, this is the time to really learn my cycle. So I decided to come off, and it has been one of the best journeys that I've ever taken, I'd say.
I love watching it. I can.
It's been truly amazing and really empowering because I think there's something really special about really paying attention to your body and really paying attention to the changes and the phases that you go through every month, and connecting with that part of yourself is very empowering, and it really it's a confidence booster also. Like, it's just it kind of gives you that confidence of like, well, I know myself on this level that no one else does, and I know my body, and getting to learn, how your emotions change as your hormones change. And with cycle syncing, I started paying attention to that and started implementing different things into my life, different changes. So I would change my diet a little bit during each phase of my cycle. I would change up my workouts.
So
And
real quick, just
mhm,
so it's easier for whoever's listening can understand cycle syncing. What
mhm,
exactly is it that you're doing with like what are you syncing? You know what I mean? I know I'm not even very familiar with my own like womanhood, to that degree.
mhm,
And it's very interesting, but to in simpleton terms, right? What are you syncing in your menstrual cycle, and how are you
right.
contributing different things, like you're saying you eat different or you do different things during the times?
Well, I am not a hormone expert. This is just something that I've started doing on my own. So I always like to say that as like, I'm not giving health advice. I'm not like a certified hormone coach or anything like that. But what cycle syncing basically means is learning when the phases of your cycle are. So you have your menstrual phase, which is where you start with your period.
Okay.
And then you have your follicular, which is a week, your period's for about 7 days. And then comes your follicular phase. So that's for about a week. And then you ovulate in the middle of your cycle. So around day 15. And then after ovulation comes your luteal phase. And the luteal phase is kind of about like 2 weeks. And that second week is when you experience PMS, like right before the period and start of the next cycle.
So that luteal phase is like the tense phase for women. Is that when we're or whatever we want to,
Yeah.
right?
That's the phase that I'm currently in right now.
Oh man.
But yeah, so that's kind of like your PMS, your high emotions, so
And you
like your
crave the
period's about to
chocolate.
come. Yeah, you're having cravings, you might be starting to get menstrual cramps. So really what cycle syncing is understanding when those phases happen for you personally every month, and then making adjustments or changes in your life to help support those phases. So traditionally, we are, we're taught to just go, you got to do what you got to do. You got to push through. You got
Yeah.
to go to work. You
Yeah.
got, like, if you have your period, put in a tampon, keep on,
Yep.
there's, you just got to keep on going on with life. Um, take a, take a painkiller, whatever. But with cycle syncing, you are acknowledging each phase,
Mm.
and you, in your luteal phase before you get your period, you might uh, you know start doing a little more self-care.
Okay.
You
Run over
might,
to
like,
that.
I like to deep clean and do things so that way I have a smooth period. I don't have to worry about cleaning that. Like, I have a nice clean space. I have things. I have my favorite snacks ready. Also with food, there are certain foods that you can eat that will actually help you have a better period. So like complex carbs. So like I tend to like eat a lot more sweet potatoes before I get my period.
Mhm.
Or you're low iron when you start your period, you're losing blood. So my boyfriend makes me a steak on the first day of my period, and
Nice.
you're just more conscious of that thing. Um, Workouts, you have more energy when you're ovulating, so like that's a better time to do hit workouts, or maybe go for a run, or do something that's going to take a lot more energy, versus when you're getting close to your period, maybe you want to slow down and do yoga or some strength training. So really it's paying attention to what your body is doing, like what your hormones are doing. And I use an app too. I use the Stardust app. So that's really helpful. And it kind of tells you, what type of workouts to do for each phase. It
Oh,
even
nice.
goes into seed cycling, which I haven't gone into yet, but I've talked to a couple people, and that's really interesting. Like, there's certain seeds that you should eat during each phase.
Like actual, like physical seeds, like
Yeah,
pumpkin
like
seeds.
pumpkin seeds or
Wow, no kidding.
or chia
Okay.
seeds or something. So like there's seed cycling too, and it's really just like doing certain things or eating certain things, certain workouts in each phase to really just slow, like listening to your body. So it being okay with slowing down and resting and in your period during your period and saying no to plans. And when you're ovulating, maybe that's a good time to plan a date night or go out dancing or, so that way you're not overall, that way you're not burnt out. Because when we just try to push ourselves to do things no matter what, that's when we become really burnt out.
What I'm hearing through all of what you're saying is like it's like a deeper invitation to really step into the feminine, because
Mm-hmm.
we're running on such a hustle culture society of just like you said, like you stick a tampon in or throw a pad on and go, 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 suck it up, take
Right.
a pain pill or whatever, whatever. A lot of women
Mm-hmm.
are just walking, roaming their day-to-day life, not really embodying their truth of what their bodies are doing for them, and so forth. So I'm seeing it as like a large invitation to really step into the feminine aspect of this human experience versus what's most commonly outside our doors, which is the masculine hustle culture,
Yeah.
and kind of suck it up and get going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that
Yeah.
ties all into your feminine approach in your entrepreneurship on your little businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And men have a 24-hour hormonal cycle versus women have typically a 30-day hormonal cycle. So really everything in our society, like the day-to-day 9 to 5 jobs, everything like that is all set up to accommodate a man's 24-hour hormonal cycle.
Mm, right. Right. Okay. So a question with all of this is that obviously, how you are speaking on behalf of women, and I know
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be so many, there's polarity to every side of coin, and you're going to have the angry testosterone, gonna have even maybe even women, I don't know, but have you ever faced backlash or doubt for choosing this non-traditional path with your entrepreneurship? I don't see too many people taking it from this approach to this degree. And
Mm-hmm.
how do you handle it?
Um, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I've gotten negative comments on social media, and it's always like a little hurtful because I want people to understand. And as far as my like creating my online business and all of that, I don't talk about it with everyone like in my life. I have friends that know a little bit, but don't really. I've shared before, and they're just kind of like, and it's out of the norm. So uh, I don't really talk about it with everyone. Like I have my people that I share things with and that I discuss things with, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be. It can be private until it's a that's your everybody knows
Yep.
and that's your life, but while you're building, like it's okay for it not everybody to know. And then as far as backlash, like I have had, like recently I got a crazy comment that said what I was saying with coming off of birth control is super right wing propaganda trying to just get women pregnant. And
Oh man. Yeah.
so it is a very controversial topic because
Yeah.
unfortunately what a woman does with her body is extremely controversial
Yeah.
in the times that we live in. I mean, since all of times
The
really.
time, right? Right.
Yeah. Um, but what my goal is, what my vision is to empower women. And I think that by having control of your body through learning your cycle, through learning the phases of your cycle, is extremely empowering because once you have that, you are in control. And regardless of what happens with different, with politics, government, everything that's going on in the world right now when it comes to women's reproductive health, um, you are able to understand because women are not educated about what goes on
Yeah.
with
I
their
don't
bodies.
I don't recall ever in my health class learning about I learned that we were going to have a period, right? Or something like
Right.
that. And that,
Right.
these are the supplies that you use. I think we maybe got a tampon and a pad or something. I remember we learned about condoms and how to put one
Mm-hmm.
on a banana, you know what I mean? But nothing about our
Yeah.
hormonal. Um, yeah, you're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Do you
So
think that this that the way that you wish to stand up and educate for women, does this stem back from in high school going into your degrees of politics, communications, and so forth, or what kind of brought you from A to B with government and politics and working in these things and being the advocate and the voice for women all around the world, really?
um I mean, it definitely didn't start this way. It kind of just all happened. Um, I have always been passionate about human rights.
Yes.
I I mean, in college, I did model United Nations, and I got to travel and represent a country and have different topics to discuss to help with clean water or
Hmm.
different dilemmas that we had to solve. And I also studied abroad, and I went to Kenya and I went to Costa Rica. And then I started working in elections. And I've always been really passionate about democracy and human rights. And I think that with my own personal journey, being on birth control so young and then coming off, and also just being a woman who has to live in a world where our rights are always threatened.
Right.
I think that all of that has kind of just come together to where I am now.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. That's beautiful. I
Thank you.
love that. You're welcome. No, thank you. So, with everything that you're saying, do you have
Mhm.
any advice for someone afraid of stepping outside of the norm due to fear of judgment? Like, how do you continue to have the strength, even with people having these things to say or wanting to pin you
Mm.
left or right or up and down, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
ultimately all I'm hearing is that you identify, as a feminist, but I'm hearing that you're very much a humanist at the end of the day and you are just a female
Yeah.
in in that way. But
Hmm.
with people that, especially during right now, and that's kind of where I do want to talk about like your personal opinion. I did a whole video on my channel about my personal opinion about what's
Right.
I'm afraid of in the world and what's going on,
Yeah.
but I'm not educated. I haven't like worked. I'm educated, but not in that field. I'm not. Um,
Hmm.
I can only take from what I've gathered and what I believe in and things, but being somebody who is worked in politics and worked on all of these things, but what would
Hmm.
you advise for people afraid of speaking up or stepping outside the norm due to the fear of the backlash or the judgment? How do we get more people to feel the courage to speak up for what they believe is right? How do you do it?
Well, I would say that it really comes down to building trust and building confidence within yourself.
Mm.
Because when you have that trust and that relationship with yourself, no matter what anyone is going to say, you still have you.
Mm.
And I think what I've learned is that's the most important relationship that you can have. It's something that I wish I would have learned a lot earlier, but every person has opinions and experiences that are valid.
Yeah.
And the only way that you can really be seen and live in your truth, and if you are looking to, be an entrepreneur and have your own online business or post content, your experience, your thoughts, everything that you have going on in your head is valid and is okay to share, because you're never alone.
Hmm.
Like that's also something that I've learned, is that you need to share your experiences and speak up, because there I promise you there's going to be so many people out there that have that same experience or that connect with you, that resonate with you, and that's when you start building community, and that's when things start happening and changing and moving. So, yeah, I think overall building that relationship with yourself, a lot of practicing self-love,
Yeah.
and
Which goes
and
coincide with your phase and cycle syncing, right?
mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as for what's going on in the world,
Yeah.
um, it's it's scary and
Yeah.
it's sad.
Yeah.
It is, and I don't think that is a reason for us to, stop fighting or totally give in to the emotions and shut down,
Yeah.
because I feel like
So,
it's really easy to do,
right,
to
right, right.
just
It's hard to not do that. It's easy
right.
to do that. Yes.
Yeah. I think you got to find a balance, with being informed in what's happening in the world, but also um, knowing that you can't just sh- completely shut down.
Right.
Like, um, and from my, I guess, educated standpoint,
Yeah.
um, so I actually studied democracy studies,
Okay.
um, as like a concentration, and I wrote my thesis on executive power
Okay.
and
Like the
the
power of the higher ups, executive
ex-
power. Yeah.
so executive power is power that the president has,
Okay.
and it was during the first Trump administration that I wrote it, but it was more philosophical as well, kind of analyzing the start of democracy, the idea that the founding fathers had, why the Constitution was written, all of that, and then leading up into how executive power has continued to grow and be abused.
Mhm.
And I think that I think like what I mentioned when I was responding to your video, when the Constitution was originally written, I'm sorry if I'm like going off on a tangent here.
I love it. This is my bread and butter, right?
Okay, cool. So, when the Constitution was originally written, it was written by white men who were landowners and slave owners. And it was meant to be a living document. So that meant that things could be changed as society and government progressed. And I think that our demographic has changed so much
Yes.
that there is just this constant battle of wanting to preserve what was
Right.
and growing into what is. And America, when it was first founded, women were not allowed to vote.
Mhm.
Uh, you had to be a white male property owner, and there was still slavery. So, because things have changed so much, there there has to just continue to be changes so that the majority of citizens feel like they are represented and protected.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people associate Christianity with traditional American ways
Mhm.
and wanting to be in alignment and go back to what that was because it's comfortable,
Right.
but that's doesn't represent everyone.
Right.
And I think that there's just been this controversy for so long with going back and forth and back and forth. And I mean, I saw recently that Kamala Harris is not running for governor and
Saw that.
saying that she wanted to take a step back from being a
I feel
civil servant
right.
because she's still in the fight, but the system, she said, the system is broken. And I think it is because it can't continue, it can't sustain with how society has I mean, it needs to our government needs to be a reflection of its people, and it's still not.
Right. Right. And even going backwards past the founding fathers that created this, this document, this living, breathing document, supposedly, quote unquote, right, of what they intended,
Hmm.
and kind of tying into the whole, and this is a little off topic too, but it's something that is like pretty passionate in my heart, but the whole immigration thing, right? And so
Mm.
like these folks that came here and they have the land, there's the white male, whatever, they're immigrants.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so like and I feel, and it's funny because literally, like, you may be over here on your like luteal phase over here, and I'm over here right before I got on this call, and like I'm dating this new man. We're like talking, and I just like hashed it out with him just now for this call because our morals are a little different, and that's okay. And like you said, everyone's feelings is valid, everybody's beliefs are valid.
Hmm.
A lot of what I do is like understanding, personal development, how it is that we became the way that we are, and a lot of it stems from childhood, almost all of
Yeah.
it, our imprint period. And a lot of our beliefs really aren't even our own beliefs that we curated ourselves. It's just been passed down through generation through generation. And so it's just such a thing to like bear witness to. But with that being said, even before this living, breathing document, um, it, here we are, and I'm just curious about your opinion because that's all we have, right? That's all we're doing
Hmm.
here. And I know it's a controversial topic, and I literally love talking about religion, politics, and
Me
economics,
too.
right? I don't know what it is, but And honestly, like even with the guy, like I'm not trying to pick a fight with you. If you want to go like have some like hot, whatever later because we're angry at each other, I'm about it. Like I'm not trying to like be whatever. It is important to me that we can find some middle ground. But again,
Yeah.
I don't think it's less than of a person, but what pains me inside is how much we have forgotten history itself and how, like you're
Yeah.
saying, the whole point of government and the whole point of this whole uh, system is we're not representing the people. And
Yeah.
even with this whole immigration thing, I get the argument of like, yes, we don't want these drugs being brought in or da, 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 and do it the legal way. But it's like those people that are saying that is like being one holding ignorance or arrogance, regardless of which one it is. All the information's out
Hmm.
there, so I don't tolerate either of them. But the point is that it's we unless you're a Native American, unless you are
Hmm.
a Native American, native to the land of America, you're an immigrant,
Right.
and
Right.
part of how we created such a beautiful fucking country
Hmm.
is through migration and and through all of these things.
Yeah.
And so here we are, and we're hearing all of the people, or
Right.
whatever,
We're a melting pot. Like,
for a beautiful melting pot. You know what I
hmm,
think? This is my theory. I think
give
that
it
we
to
will
me.
find world peace if we all just have a bunch of mixed babies. If we all just make beautiful mixed babies with every race all around the world, I think world peace will come into fruition at that point. You don't have to have babies, but when you have a baby, like make a beautiful mixed baby. I think that will be the key to our success, and that calls for a whole lot of sex and a whole lot of beautiful children. So it's really a great thing to me, I think. But
I
anyway,
like it.
the point is, or what I'm like curious about, and like now I'm going on my tangent, but and I just want to hear your opinions on all of it too. But um, you know, what is your thought process with this whole with what's going on right now? Like, what are you seeing in your field, in your works, in your own entrepreneurship with feminism and these
Mhm.
things, but also just like at the world at large? Like, yes, we're not representing the people, but also what about everything else that's going on with this immigration, with everything, this, the whole
Yeah.
freaking big pot? What's your thought? What are you afraid of in the future? What do you think needs to be done or changed? What's your opinion, Sam?
Um,
I know.
oh, that's a lot. um, I mean, I think it's terrible what's going on with ICE and the way in Alligator Alcatraz.
Okay, what's that?
And
I don't even know that one. What is this one?
so apparently, well, not apparently, there have in Florida, in the Everglades, they took some land. The federal government has been creating camps, I mean, holding camps for illegal immigrants.
Mm.
There have been several Florida House representatives and local politicians that live in the area or from all over the state of Florida that have been going to visit and trying to observe and see what the facilities are like, what the living conditions are like. And the last that I read was that they're trying to kind of put some red tape around how frequently people can visit, or you have to have some type of authorization to go in there. So a lot of people have been taken and going to this camp in Florida. And there have been pictures, and people have been comparing it to concentration camps. So it's definitely scary.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to be informed. And I follow a lot of people who live in that area who, get on social media. And I
Mm.
think, of course we have to protect our mental health.
Right.
Um, that's
Constant
something that
is not
right. And making sure that we're not getting too, it's that balance between being informed.
right.
And but yeah, I think it's good to know like what's going on, and then signing petitions or sharing things on social media and talking to people. I think that's what we can do, is we can, because if we don't talk about it, then it gets
Swept under the rug.
swept under the rug
Yeah.
and it continues.
Yes.
Um, so like with what's happening in Gaza right now, I
Yes.
just saw a video of Canada dropping food.
Oh,
So yeah, yeah. So they were able to fly in and they dropped a bunch of food.
nice.
And yeah, it makes me emotional.
Yeah. All of
No,
it.
I was like reading the questions and I was like, talking about like what you sent me and like what we were gonna talk about. I was like, oh God, I'm gonna cry.
Well, I
um,
get you beat you
yeah.
to it again.
um, so and I personally I donated, I share things,
Yeah.
and I think that's, I mean, if you're, if you're somebody that lives in an area where something terrible is happening, I think it's always important to get out there.
Yeah.
But, in circumstances like this where we're thousands of miles away, it's, all we can do is
Utilize platforms.
right.
Utilize our
Yeah.
voice.
Use your voice.
Yeah.
If you can't do anything else, use your voice, because if my my grandparents on my dad's side were Holocaust survivors,
Mm.
so that's something that's always been it's always been like a part of me.
Yeah.
And um my grandma was in a camp, and luckily she was able to escape, but um being silent kills.
Yeah.
So if you can't, if it's not happening in your backyard and you can't do something about it physically,
Right. Or
use your voice.
don't
I
have
mean,
the funds or the resources to
yeah,
do these types of things. Yeah, that is
speak
part of
up,
our
talk about it. Like it's, I think I hate that politics and current events and religion is so like we're taught that we're not supposed to talk about it.
yes. That's
I
what I was
hate
saying.
that.
I love talking about all of these things, and I don't,
And it's like that's that's how you learn.
yeah,
That's how you learn about what's going on in the world. That's how you learn about different opinions.
yeah. That's how you
That's
expand
how
your mind. That's how you look back into reflection of this imprint.
right.
Where did my belief systems come from? Why do I feel the way that I do? But nobody, like, it's very taboo to even ask questions, let alone talk about things.
Yeah.
So then we don't even, and then we navigate life not asking ourselves these questions of like, well,
Mhm.
why do I think this way? Let's look back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that is the premise of what I'm trying to do with my career and my entrepreneurship is
Mhm.
to be able to do that, to help things not necessarily directed to politics, but help assist people in an expansion of their minds, of
Mhm.
understanding of where their beliefs, their core beliefs or belief systems, BS I call them, come from, right? Where does your BS come from?
Yeah.
Same
I
thing
love that.
of like talking with people, like you're saying, we're taught it's so taboo and we don't talk, we don't ask the questions, and we are limited on learning, and we're limiting on the expansion
Mhm.
of our minds. And then now with AI out, and now with textbooks being manipulated and different
Yeah.
things being held, it's just like, at
Mhm.
what point are we going to just be so far from the reality and the truth and
Yeah.
everything's just gonna keep getting swept, or we're gonna be kept getting told this narrative of what's right and what's wrong, which theoretically speaking, there is no, if we're looking at a bigger spiritual context, there is no necessarily right or wrong, but in a humane experience, what harms and what doesn't kind of tells the difference, right? Or at least in my
Mhm.
morality. And so, yes, I like what you're saying there with like, we are taught that these conversations are so taboo, which is really why I wanted to just like sit on here with you, Sam, and have this. Because I figured you'd be a great conversationalist when it comes to these things, especially being educated in these things for to a degree. So, um, yeah, I just went off on a tangent, but
Oh, it's okay. I love it.
I know you were talking about how you did your thesis on
Hmm.
basically the presidential power, and
Right.
you were mentioning how um what it was written as in the beginning and how it's manifested itself to what it is now. What are the
Hmm.
like bigger changes that you bared witness to in completing this thesis, that you see the difference of what the goal was of these documents, of these living, breathing things, to what's going on now with the power, with ICE, with martial law threatening, with these concentration camps. We're literally moving backwards with the laws of female, it's again going
Yeah.
backwards. Like what changed that you can see from what they had intended to now?
Right. Well, the original intent for the role of executive office, even the word executive comes from like executioner, really, um,
Mm.
which was originally in the works of Aristotle. I went like way, way back when I was writing my thesis. I got like really into philosophy too, but it was originally supposed to be not a desired job. Like nobody wants to be the executioner. It's a dirty job. It has to be done. They have to make a decision. The executioner, chops the head off, and then this role of this executive, um, it was intended to be a quick decision maker for instances of war. So when I can't remember what battle it was, but early on, when the Constitution was getting written and they were creating Congress and the different branches of government, um, they needed to have like a quick decision made,
Mm.
and you know, a congressional session isn't quick and easy. So
That's when we all sit in office, or when all the higher ups sit in office.
right, right. So when House, representatives,
Right.
senators, they all meet and vote, and it's a lengthy process. So in times of war, they needed a single voice to make a quick decision.
Mm.
So that's when, because they originally weren't going to have an executive office, it was going to be, um, you know, an elected official from each state, or a certain amount allotted from each state would meet, that represent, people would vote, democratic process. And there wasn't an intention originally to have an executive office, a single president. But when now I'm like curious, I'm gonna have to look up like what the war was. But in cases where there was a war happening, something, they needed somebody to make a quick decision, they were like, okay, well maybe we should have a person that makes decisions so it doesn't take so long for Congress to meet.
Right. Yep.
And that's when they decided that there should be a president. So that was the original intent. And the rest of the structure of the government was a system of checks and balances, Supreme Court. having citizens be able to vote on who would represent them in, Washington D.C. now. So what I studied was how executive power, presidential power, has increased and has become this role that it was never really intended to be, right? It was like it turned into a popularity contest. It turned into, it was, yeah, like the world leader, and it was
Right.
never intended to be this one,
Glorified.
right, this one person that was supposed to, that was the opposite of what the founding fathers wanted, because they had just left monarchy. They
Okay.
didn't want they didn't
What's
want one
monarchy
ruler.
again?
That's when you have like a king and a queen.
Oh, right, right. Okay.
So, they come over leaving England,
Right.
not wanting a king and a queen. So they figured out, well,
Come
we're gonna
over leaving England. Immigrant.
have yes, exactly.
Anyway, proceed.
uh, so that was not the intention at all. And now, as as we've progressed, the role of the president has become so much greater than it was supposed to. And then
What flaws
ex-
do you think that brings?
the executive order was created. So an executive order is something that the president can create and sign, and it doesn't necessarily have to go through checks and balances.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But before they were only responsible to just make that one blip decision in the moment, but now they get to create whatever.
Yeah. So now the president has a lot more control, and not just Trump. I mean, obviously he's been doing a lot, but it's
All
been all of the presidents and
up until what
multiple.
point do you think? What was like the turning point?
I'd say the turning point would probably be uh Ronald Reagan's um evil empire speech.
Okay.
It's really interesting. You can find it on YouTube to
Okay.
watch. That's something that I studied in grad school. But that is when he really starts bringing like Christianity and
Trademark
abortion
information.
and yeah, and bringing that into politics.
Ah,
And I think that's when it started to become, it changed. I mean, as far as it goes with um being so involved with having Christian values in government.
yeah.
I know that kind of went off on a little tangent too, but
No, no, no. It feels on par to me. This is, I hope whoever's
and
listening to this is gaining as much information as I am right now because I'm digging it. I love this stuff. But okay,
but
so
yeah, it's continued to just um and there's a lot of other presidents um that have done crazy things
yeah, right. I mean, it
and
takes time, right?
overuse their power,
Yeah,
um I know, Andrew Jackson was during the Trail of Tears, and
that's
um,
slavery. That was a slavery thing,
that
right?
was Native Americans.
Oh,
So, like, pushing out Native Americans from reservations and taking over land.
okay.
Um, and yeah, so I think it slowly progressed, and what had turned into a role that was supposed to be just for emergencies, just for war, it turned into like all power, and the State of the Union, the way that our government functions changes drastically
Yeah.
under each presidency.
Yeah, well, even up to this point, you notice even from, I don't know what, even I mean, even 2016 wasn't this bad, and I'm not just reflecting on Trump. I mean, we go back to Obama and the things he's
Mm-hmm.
done and whatever. But and I didn't even vote. I'm gonna be honest. I'm almost ashamed of that because I know it's my duty. But like, I didn't have enough information at the time until like this year that I really started. My dad's big
Mm.
on politics.
Yeah.
And um and he's very much a humanist in his own way and stuff. And like, and I always made the excuse to excuse myself from this duty that I'm just trying to survive my own little world. And I have grown to realize that that's just I don't approve of that answer of myself anymore. And moving
Mm.
forward, I will be moving differently, which is why I'm educating myself on these ways. But as I was saying, from being this role that theoretically was not meant to be desired to
Mm-hmm.
being a role that holds so much power to now with the media to now with everything. I mean, this whole, and again, I'm not like trying to like point black or white or whatever, or blue or purple or whatever the fuck, but it's just like a celebratorial thing, like this whole big MAGA
Right.
type thing. It's like
Yeah.
never seen humanity glorify a president so
Right.
much before, you know? And I
Right.
just, and it's crazy that you mentioned like what the executive, the executor, right? The, the primary aspect to the duty of which was at play at hand to it's changing throughout the timeline of like becoming something that holds all the power to now becoming celebratorial to
Right. Yeah.
merchandise and hats and whole identities, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. It's
wild.
it's insane. And it's like, why what like why would you want to um I don't like just glorify like that they're not supposed to be like it's not supposed to be this celebrity. Like they have a important job. Initially it was supposed to make quick decisions, but they're not supposed to be this world leader, all-knowing savior, and it's crazy.
It
It
is.
is really crazy, and it is like if the founding fathers could see what the position of executive was today, like they are rolling in their graves because it's like that's the exact opposite of what they intended. That's the
You
exact
think they
opposite of
had good intentions, the founding fathers at the time? Like I know that they were white men with
I was
land,
just gonna say that. I was like, I mean, they were all racist and
right?
sexist.
Right.
Um, but they wanted a they wanted freedom. They wanted democracy. They wanted a different type of government where they weren't ruled by one person who thought that they had the power to do whatever they want
Right.
and thought that their ideas for the country were the best ideas. And that's what we have now.
Right. Yeah.
And it, it's crazy because I think that's the opposite of a patriot.
Yeah. Right. You tell them.
It's like you know love of country and its people, you know,
Right.
not
Not
not a single
people.
person.
Right. Or type of,
Yeah,
right.
right. It's not a party. It's not a person. It is a people.
Yep. And we
And
point fingers till the day we die. And all
mhm,
that's going to continue to do is allow us to have all this time in the background to self-destruct, which is what's happening. You know, I just
yeah.
like if we're going to continuously blame everything else. But anyway, Sam, we are wrapping up on our hour. I did want to wrap us up on a looser note, real quick. One last thing. I could do another one with you. I would love
I
to.
know. We
I,
should.
I'm open to it. But last not least, I hope. If you could go back 10 years,
Mm.
what is one thing that you'd tell yourself, Sam, for today or in general? What would you tell yourself? Anything under the sun.
Um, I would say to believe in myself
Okay.
because I think that's something that is really hard to do, and it's not something that we're taught.
Yeah.
We're taught to look for outside validation,
Mm.
and we're taught to fit in
Yeah.
and stay small and
We're
be,
wired to want to belong,
yeah,
part of our
yeah,
wiring, but
we want to fit in and belong, and especially in society and especially now with social media. um but I think just believing, I was definitely the type of person that would just, if something didn't work out, I thought it was the end of the world, and that um, it must not be, like it wasn't meant to be. I wasn't good at it, and I just had to move on, even though it was something that I loved and that I wanted to do. I think I would tell myself to just never stop believing in myself.
got chills.
And I almost started crying a little bit.
I'm here for it. I'm here for
Yeah.
it. That's beautiful. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for everything today.
Yeah, thank you. This is really good. I'm glad
Yes,
that we got to talk and go off on our tangents.
me too. I think
And
both of us were on the crazy digital marketing trend. I'm pretty sure that's how we both found each
I
other.
think so too, yeah.
And so it's really cool to have been able to be connected with you for at least a year now
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
actually get to know each other
Hmm.
on this level. And I look forward to continuing to get to know each other on all the levels to come. And I really
Yeah.
honor the time that you shared with me today. And I'm grateful for what you're doing for women across the globe. And yeah, I look forward to connecting to you with you again and watching you on the sidelines and cheering you on. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. And thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna end this recording real quick and then
Okay.
I will say something after. Let's see. I don't want to hang up on accident.